Étienne Bonnot de Condillac, 1714–1780, was a French philosopher who dared to ask a very simple but profound question: where does knowledge come from? Instead of turning to divine revelation, abstract reason, or mysterious, innate ideas, he argued that everything we know and everything we are comes from our senses. For Condillac, the mind is not born as a complete structure, it is shaped by what it feels. Imagine a statue that slowly comes alive one sense at a time, first smell, then hearing, then sight, then touch, and taste. As sensations accumulate, so does understanding. In this way, Condillac reduced the grand mysteries of human thought to something very basic: we learn because we sense, and without sensation, there is nothing. This video might seem like a philosopher's technical point, but if you look closer, it offers timeless lessons for how to live, learn, and see the world today. 1. Pay attention to your senses, they shape who you are. Condillac's philosophy begins with a simple yet radical observation: sensation is the foundation of all human experience. Unlike thinkers who imagined we were born with ready-made ideas, Condillac believed that everything we know, every thought we form, begins with the raw data of our senses. He even offered a famous thought experiment: imagine a statue, lifeless and cold. Now give it a single sense, smell. Suddenly, the statue becomes aware of roses, smoke, spices. Add hearing, and it perceives music and language. Add touch, and the statue learns texture, pressure, and shape. Bit by bit, the statue awakens into a fully conscious being, not because of abstract reasoning, but because of sensory experience. Backhand index pointing right. Modern connection. Today's neuroscience supports Condillac. Our brains are pattern-seeking machines that begin with sensory input. Babies don't come into the world knowing math, logic, or philosophy. They come into the world crying when they're cold, smiling when they see a face, and calming when they hear a voice. These raw sensations form the first building blocks of intelligence. Backhand index pointing right. Life application. Most of us ignore our senses. We eat while scrolling TikTok, walk while staring at our phones, or listen to music without really hearing it. Condillac would urge us: slow down and attend to your sensations. When eating, actually taste the food, its sweetness, crunch, or warmth. When walking outside, notice the air against your skin, the sound of leaves, the smell of rain. When talking to someone, hear not just their words but the tone, rhythm, and pauses. This kind of sensory mindfulness doesn't just make life richer, it makes it real. Your identity, your memory, and your very sense of self are sculpted by what you notice. Backhand index pointing right. Takeaway: you are not a creature of abstract thought first. You are a creature of sensation. Your life is only as full as the attention you give to your senses. 2. Small experiences build big understandings. Condillac believed that even the grandest ideas are assembled from small, simple sensations. Just like a cathedral is built brick by brick, your mind is built sensation by sensation. For example, the idea of distance doesn't appear magically. A child learns it by stretching for a toy and failing, then trying again. Over hundreds of repetitions, these small sensory events fuse into an understanding of near and far. Backhand index pointing right. Modern connection. Psychologists today call this constructivist learning. Knowledge isn't poured into us, it is constructed from experience. Even artificial intelligence models learn this way, processing huge numbers of small inputs to eventually form higher-level patterns. Backhand index pointing right. Life application. We live in a culture obsessed with instant results. We want six-pack abs in 2 weeks, fluency in Spanish in 30 days, or a thriving business in a month. But Condillac's philosophy teaches us that true knowledge and mastery come from small, repeated experiences. A pianist doesn't master the instrument in a weekend. They spend thousands of hours training fingers to respond to sensations of movement and sound. A chef doesn't become skilled by reading recipes, but by burning dishes, tasting, adjusting, and refining over time. Even relationships don't deepen from one grand gesture, but from countless small acts of listening, kindness, and presence. Backhand index pointing right takeaway: don't undervalue small steps. The most profound wisdom and skill in life come not from leaps but from countless small sensations linked together over time. 3. Language shapes thought. For Condillac, language wasn't just a tool, it was a creator of thought. He argued that words don't simply describe our ideas, they make certain ideas possible in the first place. Without the word justice, could we think clearly about fairness? Without the word infinity, could we grasp the endless? Backhand index pointing right modern connection. Today, linguists and psychologists confirm this insight. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis suggests that the language we speak shapes how we think. For example, some cultures have dozens of words for snow, shaping their perception of the world. Others have no word for blue, and their people literally see color differently. Backhand index pointing right life application. The words we choose daily shape our mental world. If you call a setback failure, you close a door. If you call it learning, you open one. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm stuck," your mind sees walls. If you reframe it as, "I'm searching for a path," your mind starts spotting openings. Even in relationships, words matter. Saying, "You never listen," shuts down dialogue. Saying, "I feel unheard," invites it. Backhand index pointing right practical step: expand your vocabulary. Read widely. Journal daily. Learn new languages. Every new word is like adding a new tool to your mental toolbox. It lets you build new structures of thought. Backhand index pointing right takeaway: be careful with words. They don't just describe your reality, they create it. 4. Education should be grounded in experience. Condillac criticized the education system of his time for being abstract and memorization-driven. He insisted that real learning must begin with sensory experience. Children don't understand sweet by hearing a definition. They understand it by tasting sugar. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. This idea laid the foundation for modern experiential learning. Psychologists like John Dewey and Maria Montessori echoed Condillac's insight: children learn best by doing, touching, tasting, and exploring. Backhand index pointing right life application. We still face the same problem today. Students memorize formulas without understanding, professionals attend seminars without applying, and many of us know without having lived. Reading about swimming is not the same as being in water. Watching YouTube cooking tutorials isn't the same as feeling garlic sizzle in oil. Memorizing leadership principles isn't the same as managing a real team under stress. Backhand index pointing right practical step: apply the learn-do-reflect cycle. Whatever you study, immediately apply it through experience. Then reflect. That's how abstract knowledge transforms into wisdom. Backhand index pointing right takeaway: knowledge that isn't grounded in lived experience is fragile. True learning requires doing, not just knowing. 5. Be mindful of habits, they shape your mind. Condillac observed how repeated sensations form habits. Smell coffee enough times while waking up, and soon the smell alone makes you feel alert. Our brains build automatic pathways, shortcuts of thought and behavior. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. Neuroscience today calls this neuroplasticity. The brain rewires itself based on repetition. Habits are not just routines, they are engraved patterns of thought. Backhand index pointing right life application. Every habit you have is training your brain. If you check your phone first thing in the morning, you train your mind to chase distraction. If you journal in the morning, you train your mind to reflect. If you exercise regularly, your brain begins to crave movement as part of identity. Backhand index pointing right practical step, audit your habits. Ask, what kind of person will this habit turn me into in 5 years? If the answer excites you, keep it. If not, redesign it. Backhand index pointing right takeaway. Habits are not small. They are the architecture of your mind. Choose them carefully. 6. Understanding others starts with their experience. Condillac believed people's differences arise not from innate ideas but from different sensory histories. One child grows up surrounded by music, another by silence. Their ways of thinking naturally diverge. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. This is the foundation of empathy. Modern psychology calls it perspective taking, the ability to imagine another's experience based on what they've lived. Backhand index pointing right life application. When you meet someone who thinks differently, don't label them wrong. Ask instead, what have they experienced that I haven't? A person afraid of flying isn't irrational, they've felt turbulence, panic, and helplessness in their body. A person distrustful of authority may have grown up with betrayal. A person passionate about justice may have lived through oppression. Backhand index pointing right practical step, practice empathic imagination. When someone frustrates you, pause and picture what sensations and experiences might have shaped them. Backhand index pointing right takeaway. To understand someone, don't analyze their logic. Understand their experiences. 7. Simplicity is power. Unlike philosophers who built grand, complex systems, Condillac reduced everything to one root idea, sensation. From that simplicity, he rebuilt philosophy. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. Complexity often hides truth. Simplicity reveals it. In science, Einstein said, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. Backhand index pointing right life application. In our lives, we often clutter things, overthinking, overplanning, overcomplicating. Productivity doesn't come from 20 apps, but from focusing on 3 priorities. Health doesn't come from exotic diets, but from sleep, movement, and balanced food. Happiness doesn't come from endless possessions, but from presence and connection. Backhand index pointing right practical step, practice subtraction, not addition. Ask, what can I remove to make this clearer, lighter, simpler? Backhand index pointing right takeaway, simplicity isn't lack, it's power. Clarity is strength. 8. You can always relearn and reshape yourself. If all knowledge is built from experience, then identity is never fixed. You are not born with a permanent self. You are shaped by what you sense and live. And because new sensations are always possible, you can always be reshaped. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. Psychologists today call this lifelong learning and brain plasticity. Even in old age, the brain forms new pathways. Trauma can scar us, but healing experiences can rewire us. Backhand index pointing right life application. This means your past doesn't define your future. Grew up in chaos. You can surround yourself with stability now. Learned fear as a child. You can practice courage now. Made mistakes. New experiences can teach you better patterns. Backhand index pointing right practical step. Expose yourself to new sensations deliberately. Travel. Learn skills. Meet new people. Break routine. Every new input is a chance to reshape yourself. Backhand index pointing right takeaway. You are clay, not stone. Your identity can be reshaped as long as you are alive. 9. Be curious about the ordinary. Condillac studied roses, sounds, textures, not cosmic abstractions. He showed how the simplest sensations explain the entire structure of the mind. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. Great thinkers, from Zen monks to scientists like Richard Feynman, remind us that wisdom lies in the ordinary. Feynman said, "The world is full of things to discover right under our noses." Backhand index pointing right life application. Don't chase only grand experiences. Attend to the small. The way sunlight falls on your desk. The sound of rain against windows. The warmth of holding someone's hand. These ordinary sensations, when noticed, make life extraordinary. Backhand index pointing right practical step. Practice microcuriosity. Each day, choose one ordinary thing, a leaf, a cup of tea, a bird song, and study it with childlike curiosity. Backhand index pointing right takeaway. Great wisdom often hides in small sensations. Be curious about the ordinary. 10. Wisdom is in awareness, not abstraction. Condillac's philosophy was not about escaping into abstract systems but about returning to the awareness of experience. Wisdom, for him, was not knowing many theories, but seeing clearly. Backhand index pointing right modern connection. Modern mindfulness practices echo this. Wisdom is not about thinking more but noticing more. Backhand index pointing right life application. We chase self-improvement, knowledge, and success, but often miss the simple awareness of living. A parent may read endless parenting books yet miss the joy of playing with their child. A person may chase happiness through achievements yet miss the laughter in the present moment. Backhand index pointing right practical step. Build daily rituals of awareness, meditation, journaling, or simply pausing to breathe. Backhand index pointing right takeaway. Wisdom is not in abstraction. It is in awareness, in seeing and living clearly. Conclusion. Living the philosophy of sensation. Étienne Bonnot de Condillac reminds us of something so simple, yet so easily forgotten in our noisy, hyper-distracted world. Life begins and ends in sensation. From the smell of rain to the taste of food, from the sound of a friend's laughter to the warmth of sunlight on your skin, these are not small things. They are the raw material of who you are. Condillac's life lessons show us that paying attention to our senses enriches our lives. Small experiences, repeated over time, build great wisdom. The words we use shape not just communication, but thought itself. Education, growth, and self-mastery must be grounded in lived experience. Habits form the architecture of our minds. Understanding others requires entering their world of experience. Simplicity is often more powerful than complexity. We can always relearn, reshape, and reinvent ourselves. The ordinary is a doorway to the extraordinary. And ultimately, wisdom is found not in abstraction but in awareness. In a time when it feels easier to escape into screens, routines, and distractions, Condillac offers us a return to presence. He teaches that every sensation matters, every habit counts, and every new experience has the power to reshape us. If we live by his lessons, we begin to see the world not as a blur rushing past us, but as a tapestry woven of sights, sounds, touches, tastes, and feelings, each thread precious, each moment alive. Backhand index pointing right. Final thought: life is not waiting for you in some distant future of success, wealth, or achievement. It is here, now, in the sensations you choose to notice. As Condillac might say, to live fully is to sense fully.